Here from Santo Domingo, capital of the Dominican Republic, home of some of the most luscious, delightful, sensual, and fun, vibey girls you can ever meet. Queen of the Latina, that is the Dominican. So, the final live of the month. I've done 31 lives this month. Started off up in Santiago and then continued down here. So that's a nice little achievement. And today, I'm going to talk about 10 key takeaways from Cold Approach. 10 key takeaways from Cold Approach dating and relationships. So the focus of this channel is dating, relationships, but with a specific focus on Cold Approach at the moment, daytime Cold Approach. Because that's something that opens your options to in a much wider way than any other form of meeting women. Apps discriminate against men. Nightlife is actually good. Nightlife is actually a great place to meet women, but you're somewhat limited in terms of, you can't do that every night, for example. It might interfere with your other plans, it might interfere with your sleeping habits and so on. So although nightlife can be good, it has its downsides. You're limited to the clubs themselves and bars themselves. And other things like hobbies and interest groups, they can also be good. They're actually great ways to meet women. But I still think there's a slight, you're just too limited with that. So with Daytime Approach, you can still do all of the other stuff. You can still go meet women in the dance class. You can still go meet women in the gym. You can meet women in your social group. You can meet women in clubs, but you can also now do it in the daytime as well. So that's the great benefit of learning Daytime Approach. And I think a lot of men are surprised how fast they get results with Daytime Approach. You will get indicators that you're going in a good direction, even if you've had a long time out of the game and you've only just really learned how to do it. You will get indicators quite quickly. We're going to go through today 10 lessons from Daytime Cold Approach. So, lesson number 1, quality approach, vibes, and mindset. That's the 3 key ingredients. Quality approach, so technically proficient, vibes, and mindset. So quality, vibes, mindset. Quality meaning it's done the right way. It's technically proficient. I won't break down the technique here, but there are actually techniques that we use in Daytime Approach just to make sure that the woman is physically, mentally, and emotionally positioned in the right way to receive our approach. There are techniques that we use there. Vibes, how you're feeling internally through the law of state transference is going to transfer into your set, and it's going to transfer over to the woman as well. So the more vibey you are, the better. I didn't realize this until I started to actually meet guys in my mastermind who were coming into Cold Approach essentially with very little experience really of meeting women. And I'd see them in set and I'd think, what's he doing? Approaching it like it's the gym, So my sets have really always been quite fun because I came up in the club environment. So having fun and having vibes in sets, when I say set, it means an approach, is just the norm for me. So you need to bring that vibe, bring that, whatever it is, whether it's fun, whether it's a bit of raunchiness, whether it's, you might come in serious, but I think it's very disjointed if someone's coming in with a kind of work level seriousness. It's not fucking work. You're talking to a human being. Yeah, you're talking to a woman. And so this is something I've also seen with guys who they start to see women as just like a number in terms of their approach. And I watch their interaction and I think, you're not interacting with this girl. You're just like seeing ones and zeros. There's no actual interaction going on. So that's a little bit strange. So vibe is important, and then your internal mindset as well. Your internal mindset is super important. So how How are you thinking about this process? Are you okay? Nico, my friend, you're out. Goodbye. Uh, this is a cold approach channel, my friend. I'm Joseph Blake, the Wing Bro. This is a channel about cold approach, dating, and relationships. So, you have to kick these people out, not because I'm mean, but because I want to stay on track and I can't be distracted by people who are not in the right place. If this is not your place, that's fine. Just move on. That's fine. Yeah, your mindset is important. I could break this down in so much detail, but fundamentally, I want to see guys who've got a mindset that, on the one hand, they start to feel entitled that it's okay for them to go over to women and flirt with women. They feel entitled in that sense, and even in fact feel entitled to close women. But what I don't want to see is guys who feel entitled to a result with every single woman. To me, that's just that's a very infantile level of entitlement. Like, just because you went over, so what? She didn't know you 5 minutes ago. She doesn't owe you anything. That's the type of entitlement where the guy feels that he's owed something because he did X number of approaches. That's a very ugly mindset, and that's actually something that's, to me, that's so bad. I would consider stopping an immersion if someone was communicating to me like that. I've never had it with my clients, but I do know guys who've got that kind of mindset. It's a very bad mindset to have. You're entitled to go over, you're entitled to flirt away, you're entitled to have a good time. She's entitled as well to not reciprocate or to be on the fence. Or she's also entitled to jump into bed with you. You're both entitled to do whatever you want to do. So write the correct mindset, and just seeing it as this is a game that you can just improve at. It's a game you can improve at. It's, at the end of the day, we're only going talking to women, so have fun with it. Next up is calmness. Calmness. This is point number 2. The more calmness you bring into your approach, the better. I think a lot of guys who come into daytime approach actually have severe anxiety. Not even normal anxiety, like fairly severe anxiety. I don't know what percentage, but I'd say it's about 30 or 40%. It seems to be, it's quite common. And so if you've got generalized anxiety, that's going to transfer into your approaches. You don't want to be stressed in the approach. You're not on trial. You're not being judged. Like your value as a human being is not being judged. You're just doing a skill, and you're making connections. So you want to stay calm about it. It is normal to feel nerves and stress at times, especially when you're a beginner, especially when you're on your own. But in general, just this is probably the biggest lesson on this whole life. So if you just take one thing away, learn how to be calm. Learn how to be calm. It's a skill, just like any other skill. Learn how to be calm. Yeah. Go check out, Eckhart Tolle. Go check out the guy I advocate is Phil Parker, and his process, the lightning process, really helps you put you in a good place emotionally when you're out doing whatever you want to do. So calmness is so important. It's so important. Again, I see guys going into sets, and it's like the guy's hyped off his nut, like gritting his teeth going into a set, and it's kind of like, well done for doing that. But at the same time, that's not very sustainable, is it? And it's a little bit loopy from the woman's point of view as well. You can actually still be very nervous and do well, but focus on calmness. That's going to make things more sustainable for you. So once you've got those first two, quality approach, good mindset, good vibes, and calmness, then it is just a numbers game. It's just a numbers game. There's an element of volume. There's always an element of volume with this. This would be something for me where I'm like, because I've been doing it a while, I've just become single again. There are times when I'm like, I just can't, I'm a little bit lazy with, because I know my approach is fairly solid, but there are times when I'm like, I only go out and do 3 approaches, and I might get to maybe 1 to 3 closes in that, and I just kind of leave it at that. But actually, it's better to do more volume. It's better to do more volume. You get more options. Yeah. I am 40 though, so I don't know. I like to pick my shots now. But if you're a beginner in daytime approach, just realize it's volume that is it's another ingredient. But if your approach is fundamentally shit, you're going to end up doing a lot of approaches to get very little back. If the first few things I talked about aren't there, you're going to be doing a lot of junk volume. So you do need to, you need to have quality and calmness in the approach, but then volume comes in. Number 4, feedback, getting course correction, getting good feedback, getting course correction. There are a lot of things in approach in daytime, because it's not your, you're doing something that is, certainly in Western Europe and Eastern Europe, socially unusual. There's all these little ticks. You do all these little weird things. Some guys jump in at the end of the good woman's sentence because they're like anxiously jumping in because they're trying to move the set forward. I've definitely done that at times. Some guys are too passive. They let sets go when they actually could have done better. Sometimes guys look very stressed in their interaction, and they don't realize that. Some guys look terrified in the interaction itself, and they don't realize that. And so some guys are too aggressive in the set. Some guys are just way too meek. Some guys don't speak up. There's all the different issues you can have on an individual approach. And unless you're getting feedback, it's very difficult for you to. There are some things you probably will know that you're doing wrong, but there's things you'll be doing wrong that you don't even know. So unless you're getting feedback from a learned eye, someone who can actually spot what you're doing wrong, someone who's experienced and knows how to do it themselves, very difficult to progress. I took some utility from getting filmed earlier this year, and I still can see some of my sets and I'm like, Obviously when you're on film it is a bit more nerve-wracking, but like, yeah, I'm a bit twitchy in some of these sets. So getting filmed or recording your infields is really useful. Next up, number 5, the underpinning leadership dynamic. The underpinning leadership dynamic, that is something I think is so important. Men don't feel comfortable leading women. I don't know why, to be honest. It's irritating, but it is our nature to lead the woman. It's our nature, and that should underpin everything. And also, don't be afraid to just tell a girl, come here at this time. If a girl basically, in my world, if a girl is in touch with her femininity, she's looking for a man like this. And the kind of commie girl boss types, they're not that feminine anyway. When you look at them physically, like their hormones aren't there. They don't have the feminine hormones flowing. So when women try to negotiate stuff with me too much, it really turns me off. And when I look back, I think, yeah, but dude, look at her body. She's a fucking plank. Of course she's, maybe I was interested in the conversation and I just realized, nah, this girl's just too cerebral. I'm not interested. The more womanly a woman is, the more she needs this. And that's what we're going after, right? That's what we're going after. So leadership, Pharaoh on a throne, like banging his golden scepter into the floor. It's not that. It's just, let's say you just met a girl, and this is a good example from one of my students this summer. I just remembered this instant because I thought, oh, he didn't know this, but it was just something that was obvious to me because I've done it so many times. But he'd met a girl, he had a good set with her, got her number, she'd wandered on to do whatever she was doing, and then there was messaging, and he was saying, oh, she's doing this, she's doing that, and I said, just tell her, come here, and we'll go out. Just tell her that. That's what she needs to hear. He did, and that's what happened. She came to meet him, and then they went out and they had a great night together. And so men are just uncomfortable. They think the woman, like, it's understandable because of all of the media tells people, like, oh, women need to do this, women need to be enthusiastic, whatever. The reality is they want to be told what to do. They want to be told what to do. Don't be afraid to step into that. But obviously, use your fucking common sense as well. You're not India, you're not fucking a dictator of Zimbabwe or something. So, but definitely do not be afraid to step in and to command. I would say not even don't be afraid. You have to. You have to. Yeah, uncomfortable truth. That might make you feel uncomfortable, but you have to. Um, that is the strangest comment, my friend. I don't even know what to say to that, mate. Next up here, location matters. Location matters. I might turn comments off, to be honest with you. He's already getting a red card. That comment is just abysmal. Talking about how my skin tone matches. Bizarre. Location matters. Location's important. So you could have the best approach, the best mindset and everything, and you will still, in almost anywhere, you'll still have, well, I won't say anywhere. If you're in a town of 20,000 people, you're not going to get any success. But even in suboptimal cities, you can still do well. I've done it in all sorts of places. If you can see, if you look through my channel. But location does matter. The cityscape itself matters. The culture of the place matters. All of those things are factors. I would actually say the cityscape is a really underestimated aspect of approach. Do you have a convenient cityscape? I've always liked Manchester, UK, because you've basically got a square. You'll go and approach. You've got whatever it is, Market Street, King Street, whatever it is. There's like a square that you can walk around. You can just batter out the approaches. It's such a good city, Manchester. It's such an underrated city. So, yeah, location matters. How do the girls dress as well? Are the girls looking sexy? What is the mindset of the place? I did a lot of cold approach out in Salvador de Bahia, which is literally the most leftist place in the whole of Brazil. It's like commie enclave. And you can imagine the girls, right? Just annoying. So, compared to like Serbia or Dominican, where they're more traditional, you know. So, for me, yeah, being in a place where I've got the right types of people, it's the right cityscape is super important. Point number 7. Cold approach is not, first of all, we call it cold approach. It's, I don't know if it comes from cold outreach marketing or something, but it's just talking to women. It's just stopping women and talking to them. We call it cold approach as shorthand because we know what it is. And there is a certain discipline that we learn as almost like a martial art. But you also have to realize, like, be flexible. Yeah, it's not, there really is no such thing as cold approach, truly. There's just men going over to women. It's not like a defined rule set. There's lots of different things that can permutate and can happen. So it's not the only way to meet women. You can meet women in other ways. I still think, for me, my favorite way to meet a woman is on the dance floor. That's still my favorite. I think it's still actually the best as well. Because I can tell what I need to tell from that woman in an extremely short period of time. Probably in 10 seconds. I can already tell what I need to know. So, cold approach is not the only way to meet women. So don't become a fanatic. Don't become a day game fanatic. Develop your social circle. Go on nights out. Meet women when and where. You know. If you see, you know, it's familiarity definitely plays into your hands with seduction. Some familiarity. Obviously, cold approach, we're just going in, we don't know the girl. But if you've got girls in your class or whatever, in your, maybe not work, but if you uni, you've got girls around, take advantage of that, dude. Take advantage of that, because that's that's a great place to meet women in social circles as well. Now, by all means, though, I do think cold approach gives you an edge in terms of social confidence. If you can blend the two, you've got a bit more balls, you've got a bit more social savvy from the street. Why not bring that into your main life? But let's not become fanatical maniacs about this. Yeah, we're just talking to women. Next up, um, this is a team sport. This is a team sport. You're much better off with wings. You're much better off being around other guys, and it's much more enjoyable as well. So one of the reasons I'm starting my group this year, put out first, so we can actually meet up with each other, and we can we basically book destinations and go, and essentially, yeah, just enjoy that camaraderie, that fun, those conversations. Just hitting the streets alone. I've done it hundreds of times in my journey to become a master practitioner of this. But just hitting the streets alone, it's not always that much fun. It's usually not that much fun. Whereas when you're with friends, it just, then you've got points of reference together. At a later date, you're like, oh, remember that the Janet Jackson girl I approached? Oh yeah, what happened to her? And then you also just talk business. What is it with you freaks on this channel, man? Who am I? My God, there are some absolute freaks out there. If you're a complete freak, don't contact me. Yeah, I like normal, cool guys to get in touch with me who want to learn approach and want to level up. And it is a difficult thing. To go out alone and do it is borderline impossible. That's why I hired a coach. That's why I practice a lot. That's why I go out with wings. But yeah, absolute oddballs coming onto my channel. If you want to get on a call with me, I want to repel you if you're a weirdo. Okay, if you're a normal, cool person, get on the call. And I work with guys who've got autism. Work with a guy who's got Asperger's, one of my most notable clients this year. So, and they're actually perfectly normal guys, perfectly normal, perfectly cool guys. And so I don't know what excuse everybody else has got, like absolute bizarros. Anyway, yeah, so it's a team sport, and I'll leave that point there. It's a team sport. You're much better off if you have other wings alongside you. Next point here is that most women are just not for you. Most women are not for you, and you've got to be mature and realize that. Most women are not here for you. Just because they're attractive doesn't mean they're your girl at all. And I would say, honestly, it'd probably take you a few hundred approaches to find someone who you're compatible with. And so where there's that real magnetic resonance, that'll probably take you a few hundred approaches. You'll get success before that. You'll get dates before that. But for me, it was around about the 300 mark. I started to pull in maybe 2-3 girls who were, 2 in particular, who I really liked, both of them. And that was when I'd started off in Brazil. I'd probably done a couple hundred, maybe 150 approaches out there or something. I'd probably done about another 50, 60 in the UK before that. And then I came out to the DR and I'd probably put in about another 100. Yeah, within about 6 weeks, I was putting a lot of work in. And it was around that 300 mark, 2 to 300 somewhere, where I met these 2 girls. I was like, yeah, these are just a cut above. I really like these 2 girls, and it was just a pleasure to date both of them. And yeah, I made a quick decision, a quick snap decision after a few weeks of seeing both of them. I went with one of them, but the other one, maybe that was a mistake because I don't know. The other one was incredible as well. Me the most, which was, it's not like the other one was stupid. She was intelligent as well, but I went with the one with the most mental stimulation. So. I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, but that's what I did. But just, realize that most women are not going to be a fit for you. We've got to be mature about this, and that even myself as well. I think it's because, well, when you look at a woman's beauty, how hyper stimulated our brain is by a woman's beauty. If you think about this, a woman in her native form has quite a lot of body hair. She's got like hairy legs, hairy armpits. Her tits are fucking hanging around in her native form, her hair's scraggly, right? And yet our ancestors still fucked women like that. So men basically would fuck anything through human history. right? And obviously they've got, as time has gone on, they've got more and more beautified. Now we're at a point where a woman is like painting a whole face on. She's putting her tits in the fucking air. We're already massively attracted to them anyway, but they're coming out even further. You know, all of this stuff going on. And then now it's on media. We see the girl's pictures. She's posting all these alluring pictures every fucking day. And the beauty itself, the talisman, it's like a mask almost. You have to almost look past the mask to what the person is beneath that. And the beauty itself is actually, it causes men to miscalculate and miscalibrate because it's so alluring to us. And then you get into, oh, I really like this girl. And then you like think about it and go, actually, I don't like her at all. She's just hot, you know. She's just very attractive. And so there's a maturity that you have to go through where you realize, I went through this within the first 6 or 7 weeks. I was putting up volume and I realized, man, all these girls I'd always wondered, God, she looks so perfect. She looks so great. Why don't I ever see her in my club? And then I go over and speak to them and I was like, even get the number. And I was like, God, she's quite immature and fucking stupid and annoying. I don't want to talk to her. And that's a big realization, you know. Most women are not that interesting. They're not actually worthy of your time. And it's a positive realization though. It's a positive realization. Yeah, most girls are not for you. And the ones that are, you know, it will be very obvious. It will be very obvious to both parties. You still have to do everything. You still have to progress everything, push it forward, but it'll be very obvious to you anyway. And there's a maturity that comes with that. Yeah, when you're in the streets as well, you also have to bear in mind this is not a selected environment. So you can cultivate your environment, for example, by going to a specific country. Then it becomes more selected. But you're in the streets. It's just not a selected environment at all. So a club, in a sense, is good for that because you've selected based on the music and the clientele. So you're pre-selected, or you've, like, if I meet a girl who goes to a Latin dance thing, or she, you know, there's a good or kizomba, I already know she's a good dancer, so we've already got that in common. And so if there's just a bit of chemistry there, there's probably going to be enough already to have something, like at least some interesting interaction. The street, you know, you're just going purely on looks, which is kind of flimsy, really. I mean, like, they have to be good looking, but it's probably not enough. So yeah, there's a maturity that comes when you realize most women are not for you. Point number 10, it's not that deep. It's just talking to women, guys. We're just talking to women here. That's all we're ever doing in this. It's not a referendum on your character. If the sets go well, good. If they don't, who cares? Just go on to another one. It's not that deep. And the more you have the rest of your life cultivated, the more the rest of your life is looking good, the less there is going to be riding on any individual approach. And you just go out and, you know, just enjoy yourself, basically. Express yourself. The more that time goes on, the more I actually realize it's about self-expression in the sets. And there are some girls who this couple who've got away, and I think, man, I do fantasize. It's a shame that didn't go any further with that girl, but it's usually a logistics thing. But for the most part, that's good anyway, because it gives you a little bit of extra hunger and spice. But it's mostly, the realization we're just talking to women. That's all we're doing. And the last point, my bonus point here, bonus point number 11, is this is just the start. It's a swashbuckling, exciting start to a relationship or to an interaction with a woman. But it's just the start, mate. It's just the start. It's just the first approach. The back end is more important. You as a person, your leadership, that's all for a different video. I can't go into, there's so much I could go into there. Um, Again, this is a realization I've had: is guys can learn how to approach, but they don't fucking know anything still about female psyche, nature, how to really interact with them. And it's not the bullshit you see on the internet either. So, um, and lastly, it's not just about knowing the woman as well. It's about knowing yourself. That's probably the biggest one. It's like guys are focusing on getting good with women. Probably the biggest part of it is getting good at being yourself. That's probably the biggest part of it. So getting good at being yourself, a sovereign man. That's the biggest thing. So yeah, so the approach is just the start, and the real fun comes after the approach. Oh, cheers, man. Yeah, the real fun comes after the approach. That's where, I have done shitloads of cold approach, absolutely shitloads. The first year I did so my club approach, I did purely because it's easy to knock out 20 approaches in a club. It's easy, and it's chaos as well. Sometimes they're not even approaches, it's just random flirting. So in clubs, it's kind of easy basically. But I still remember feeling stressed and hesitant and stuff in clubs a lot of times. I was like, oh shit, does this go, whatever. But I would always actually go for it in clubs. So I already had a lot of experience. And then getting into the daytime, I did one full calendar year where I went out every single weekend for the entire year, and then did 1 or 2 mini 1 to 3 approach sessions in the week for an entire calendar year. And about 4 months into it, I met my girlfriend, and I still carried on for another 8 months just because I wanted to embed the skill to such an intensive level. And then when I came back into the UK, I could see I'm streaks ahead of where I was. So I know I can do this now. I was going to take last year off, but then I went to Serbia and I saw all the girls there. I was like, okay, fuck that. I'm going to keep approaching. And then started to make videos. And then it was around about Bosnia where I was like, this is very, very difficult. Bosnia was really difficult. And I want to get through this because I feel like I'm going down now into the dark recesses, the dark waters. I'm going to find that pearl deep down there in the ocean. And if I can bring it back up, that pearl of wisdom, those pearls of wisdom from those winter sessions in Sarajevo, I will be a very valuable asset to other guys who want to learn this, because I'll have done it from bloody the tropics down to the deepest winter in fucking Sarajevo. So that's a broad spectrum of experience. But fundamentally, that second year was just a bonus year, and then it became about coaching, it became about teaching. So it's the point I'm getting to. I know it's not about me, but the point I'm getting to is cold approach is not where the fun is at. That's not where the fun is. The fun is what comes after. The fun is the dating. The fun is the sex. The fun is the relationship. The fun is going on trips. The fun is everything else. Cold approach is just it's a means to an end. You make it work. You go in and you get that first initial contact, get the details, have those interactions. And it's just a method for us to get ourselves out there. There are other methods. There's some guys who they use social media more. I don't really see how you can do that without having a fucking massive account. But clubs are great. Salsa's great. There's lots of different ways you can do it. And fundamentally, what is important is what comes after. So yeah, don't become an approach artist. I'm a little bit myself. I'm like, God, have I become too much of an approach artist? The very thing that I said I wasn't going to be, because I just do sessions just for something to. It's not something to do. It's really to. So I run drills so that I'm ready to train students. That's what I'm doing at the moment. So people who come in to work with me, I really am ambitious to give them absolute premium gold when they come in, because I think if you sign up to come and do something like this, you want to explode your options. You want to explore this wild west of a daytime approach. You need to have someone who knows what they're doing. Otherwise, I don't know how someone would ever have the balls to try and claim that they could do cold approach if they actually couldn't, and then try and teach people, because it's you know, you can see very quickly. There's no hiding. You can see very quickly if someone can do it or not. And yeah, the guys I've worked with, they've all excelled, to be honest. Even guys who had, there's one or two guys who had very difficult sessions. I think underestimated what the requirement was. So they still did well though, because they're all kind of alphas, to be honest. The guys I work with, they're all basically alpha males. They may not think of themselves in that way. Some of them do, but they're all basically alpha males. And the alpha male mentality is just, I'm getting out and I'm going to hit it as hard as I can. And that's what every single guy has done. And I give them feedback. Most guys have got very, very good success very quickly. The only guys who was a bit more challenging was when they only came in for very short programs, like a day program, and it just wasn't enough time. But they still did every set that I required them to do. So, yeah, you can't teach. This is not something you could bluff your way through as a teacher. You just can't. It would be, you'd definitely have to issue a refund, you know. And there's very few people who can even do this, never mind teach it. So, post for the Wingbro web shop, yeah, exactly. You're born Serb-Hungarian areas of different worlds. Oh yeah, I saw your comment the other day, Africa. I looked at your channel as well. I feel like we're probably kindred spirits. You're out there in traveling all over Africa with all these beautiful African women. Balthus is also a connoisseur of yeah, of sub-Sahara, well actually of the whole world, to be fair, but African girls. Premium, dude, premium. And it's not just the look as well. It's the whole thing. It's the whole package. You know, when you travel around the world, it's sort of you realize just the human vibes that are out there are just amazing. So here we go, 37 minutes in. But yeah, Serbia is awesome. Bosnia, Macedonia, Romania. I've not been to Hungary yet. I want to do Albania as well. There's so many places. Yeah, there's so many places I want to get to around there, but I'm in like rapturously in love with Dominican Republic, which is where I live. So I'm out here for as long as possible, and I want to do more filming out here as well. I've got some of these Meta glasses, so I can start doing filming here, like in fields. Yeah, this island is incredible. It's incredible, and yeah, but I would say my second favorite place in the world is probably the Balkans. It's probably my second favorite place. And then in Western Europe, I like Spain and Portugal as well. They're just a little bit pricey for where I'm at in my life at the moment. But maybe if I had shitloads of money and I wanted to spend all my 50% of my income on, like, you know, Ursula's fucking whatever bullshit. Maybe I'd live in EU, but I'm not really into it. Yeah, boys, what are the plans for New Year's Eve? What are the plans for 2026? I think in 2026, guys, if you're still single in 2026, you don't need a goal. You don't need a goal. Like you don't need a goal. You need a method. You need a method. You know what the goal is. You want to find an attractive girl. But if you don't have a method and a strategy, your goal is just going to be frustrated. And daytime approach, in conjunction with a full, kind of full development, across the board, full spectrum program, using daytime approach as the driver, is a very nice method for you. It's a very nice method for you. But if it's not going to be daytime, it needs to be something. It needs to be nighttime. It needs to be being more proactive in your social life. It needs to be cultivating your Instagram, which you're going to use as an adjunct to your social life. So it can all work. It can all work. But you need to do something, and you need decent methods. You need decent methods. Goals, I don't think, at a certain point are very useful. So, yeah, it's method that you need. So yeah, that's what the focus is for 2026. The method, finding the method for you boys. This is the last live I'm gonna do for a while. I'm gonna go focus now, just actually doing some more recordings with the Meta glasses. Let's see what happens there, and that'll be the focus for the next 3 or 4 months. I think just actually starting to make use of those, starting to produce some more infields. I'm limited on my time I can spend on this channel, so doing like lives every day plus infield, I just can't do it all at the moment. So I'll be focusing on the infield stuff coming up. So, boys, as usual, thank you for joining. I hope you found that useful. And yeah, 2026, boys, start taking action, start making the moves you want to make. But you need to have a strategy. You need an effective method. Otherwise, unfortunately, nothing's going to change. So, with that in mind, I'll leave you to it, boys. Have a fantastic new year, and I'll catch you whenever I catch you next.